Welcome ladies and gentlemen, Tactical Lich here, and today we are back for a fourth game between Will Francesco on the red side and on the green side Butcher Bird in their best of 5 series in the BBB Season 1 tournament. Now Will Francesco playing as the Skaven is already in a disadvantaged position in this matchup since the Wood Elves are a very good rush faction. Despite being known as the Kite faction, they have some great offensive units for rushing just like these Vanguard deployed Dryads. But the real key in this battle here are these Deepwood Scouts. Now regular Deepwood Scouts are usually in an awkward position, being more expensive than Glade Guards and being outclassed by Way Watchers. But the Swift Shiver Shard variant does bring something unique to the table. Their special ammo allows them to fire 2 shots at once, so that means double the projectiles per volley and double the DPS. Even though this comes at a cost of range, giving them less range than other Wood Elf archers, this does give them a lot of burst damage. Just like here, the Skaven Slave Slingers taking a couple volleys to the face and they are already routed with only half HP left. The damage dealing potential of the Swift Shiver Shards is amazing. The Poison Wing Globalities having 100 armor and yet they still get nuked down to 75% health. Now on the Skaven left flank, the Rats are able to overload some Dryads and break through the Wood Elf front line, but Will Francesco is making a mistake here, diverting a lot of resources trying to snipe out Orion. Dropping Flensing Ruin, throwing in the Packmaster and some Rat Ogres to try and hunt him down, but this also means that the Rat Ogres have their backs turned against the very deadly Swift Shiver Shard, who has their double projectiles shooting at the basically unarmored Red Ogres. You can see how fast their HP dropped right there. Already down to half health fighting a demigod and then charged by a bunch of Wild Riders from the back. There's no doubt the Red Ogres will not hold much longer in battle, especially more firepower from the Swift Shiver Shards are pouring in. Knowing that the Packmaster would lose in a duel against Orion, Will Francesco was forced to pull in more characters to support. Over here, the Swift Shiver Shards are getting some solid work done, especially when protected by the Wood Elf mobility. Butcherbird having great control of his own cavalry, running down the dogs and Red Ogres in the vicinity, giving the Deepwood Scouts a safe environment to fire. Over here, you can see that the Packmaster already taking significant damage from the sandwiching attacks of Orion and Branch Rave. And on the far side, some Glade Riders are being chased away by Wolf Rats, but they are desperately needed back here to deal with the Deepwood Scouts, who have taken quite a bit of damage from the Poison Wing Globaliers, but they are indeed Wood Elves and they can quickly run away. Just look at these Deepwood Scouts scooting and shooting, reflecting how great their damage potential is. The Rat Ogres started their chase with almost full HP, but in a couple of volleys, they are down to almost only half HP. They haven't even made it into melee contact, but their leadership is already quickly approaching wavering territory. And with that, basically, the Wood Elves have dominated most of the battlefield here. There's still a lot of scattered Skaven units lying around the battlefield, but that doesn't mean that they are in a position to help. Most of them are out of position, and the Wood Elves, with their mobility advantage, can easily pick them apart. At this point, Ikit has taken massive damage in a 1v1 versus Orion, and the Wild Riders are running amok, cleaning up all the scattered Skaven units. More and more Skavens are shattered by the Wood Elf mobility, while the Skaven characters, despite their best effort, cannot kill off the Branch Rave. Instead, they themselves are being showered by the double arrow volleys of the Swift Shiver Shards. Massive damage is taken by the Chieftain, who doesn't have the greatest armor at only 70. With all the Skaven heroes gone, Orion only needs a single charge against Ikit to put them into army losses. If we look at the army performances, you can see that the Deepwood Scouts here with their Swift Shiver Shards did massive damage to all the unarmored units of the Skaven roster. The Rat Ogres, the Wolf Rats and the Skaven Slave Slingers all are very susceptible to that kind of firepower. Even the dirt cheap Skaven Slaves, they might not be the most expensive target to hit, but the sheer damage of the Deepwood Scouts means that they can quickly rout off the Skaven Slaves and move on to other targets. As for the other units, the Dryads did some pretty nice push against the Skaven frontline, but then the Red Ogres simply charged in and dumpster them in melee combat. Branch Rave didn't do much damage, but Orion, definitely a powerful melee beast, did over 2,000 gold worth of damage value against the single entities of the Skaven army, and also dropping in those abilities, the bombardment as well as the wind spell, the hounds. As for the Skaven army here, the Red Ogres took massive damage due to their lack of armor against the Deepwood Scout Swift Shiver Shards. The Poison Wind Globadiers, as always, very effective in dishing out the pain, having some nice missile damage and their Poison Wind effect. The Wolf Rats, unfortunately, against a superior Rush faction here, getting beat back by the Dryads and Wild Riders as well as the Glade Riders. As for the Skaven Slaves, theoretically they can try trading against the Wood Elf Archers, but with the sheer volume of firepower on the Deepwood Scouts and then the mobility harassment, they were not able to do much here either. The single entities Packmaster getting beat down by a combination of Orion and the Swift Shiver Shards. Same goes for the Chieftain Really and a Kick Claw. Despite the damaging abilities and spells, he was stuck fighting Orion for a little too long there, taking a lot of counter damage. Will Francesco here attempting for a rush build and counteract the Wood Elf skirmishing. So in the end, Butcherbird, going by the name of SOK Crowfather, is going to secure a third victory in this fourth game of the series, bringing it to an end. Now, to quickly wrap up this best of 5 series, Butcherbird has emerged victorious with a first game win as the Beastman, using a combination of the Traitor Kin spell from the Lore of the Wild as well as a whole bunch of throwing axes from the Centaurs, whittling down the Ogre Heavy Cavalry. In the second game, Will Francesco attempted a super wide infantry rush from the Nurgle, trying to overwhelm the Greenskins. But Butcherbird managed to hold his ground, using Grimgar Ironhide and the Biggin as his linchpin. In the third game of the series, Will managed to claw back a victory, all thanks to the sheer tenacity of the Chaos Knights of Slaanesh, which is quite ironic when Slaanesh is supposed to be a glass cannon faction. But then in the fourth game, when the Skavens of Will Francesco tries to rush, they got counter-rushed by the Wood Elves instead. The Molder monsters without any armor to protect themselves from the shower of Swift Shiver Shards simply cannot hold up in the fight. With the Wood Elves winning the final game, this will be a 3-1 victory for Butcherbird. GG to both players for this spectacular best of 5 series. I'll be casting more tournament games in the upcoming weeks, including the BBB Season 1 tournament and other tournaments. So viewers, if you want to see more multiplayer action, be sure to hit the subscribe button and keep an eye out for new video uploads. That's all for today, and I'll see you in the next one. Tactical Lich, signing out.